Magic in the Storm, written and narrated by HaleDoesAudio. They say that when a storm rages, one can find, in the mountains above the village, a salvation of last resort. And so, one stormy night, with only a shaking lantern light to guide their step, a young child makes their way up the mountain path. Their boots sink in the sucking mud as they shiver from the sky's torrent. Their world flashes white-blue, and they scream as their ears ring with the sharp, sudden crash of thunder. Darkness. The lantern fallen in their terror. The way back lost in the shadow of the storm, with not even the moon's light to guide them. But then, a faint glow. They step forward and stop as they find their foot stuck, having sunk deep into the mud. They tug and tug until with a thud, a new wave of chill overtakes them. Fighting back tears, they turn back to where they saw that faint hope, that faint glow. And there is more. Dim reds and blues and greens and violets. The child awkwardly squishes from one glow to the next, to the next, to the next, and the next. And as they come to the last glowing spot, they look up to find themselves at a cabin deep in the mountain woods. Odd colors spill from the windows, swirling over the child who is fighting back shivers. Another flash, another crash, another scream in the night. Panting from terror and from cold shivers, the child gathers their strength and their courage, raising a hand to knock on the cabin door when the door swung open. Who is this screaming at my door, disturbing the storm's song? The frowning form within demands. The child, for their due, managed a teeth-chattering reply. The frowning form sighs and looks over the child. Well, look at you, so ill-prepared for such a trek. No light, and soaked to the bones, looking as if you've been playing in the mud. And where is your other boot? This will not do. Set yourself by the hearth. The form turned and moved inside, but the child, frozen in fright, did not. Now, child, before you let the storm dancers in to wreak havoc upon my home. The form snapped their fingers, spurring the child to motion, the door swinging shut once they passed. The child hurried to the hearth, in which a warm, welcoming fire burned. Once warmth returned to their fingers and their toes, they began to look around and found a world of dancing colors. Glass containers filled with glowing liquids and powders, plants and stones lit the space in a kaleidoscope of gently colored light. And it lit too, the grinning form, sitting in one of two rocking chairs by a barely open window, staring out into the storm. So tell me, the form says to the child, what has brought you to my home in such a state? What could possibly drive you to me? And so the child told the form, told them of the sickly mother, the missing father, told of the village legends of the salvation of last resort. They told of their journey, told of the fallen lantern, the stolen boot, their fall in the icy mud, told of how they followed patches of glowing colors, and how they screamed at the flash and the crash. I see, the form said. Why should I help your sickly mother or your missing father? The child froze anew, tears welling unbidden in their eyes, for they did not know how to answer. They stuttered and they sputtered, and as they tried to answer, the form held up a hand and smiled. I know what it is I wish from you in exchange for my help, the form said, taking an empty bowl and moving to the child. A tear of shattered hope, catching a falling tear in the glass dish. And I think your missing lantern and your stolen boot, and a bit of your time. The form moves away with the glass bowl, adding light blue to the shifting colors of the room. Directing the child to sit by the hearth, the form moves to a workbench. A moment later, the child hears the most peculiar of things. music. As the form begins to lift their voice in song, the clatter of rain becomes tempo, setting meter and measure. The window, barely open before, swings full, and the howling winds join their voice with that of the form. The crashing of thunder and the flashing of lightning set counterpoint to the song. Smoke rises from the bench, though there is no flame, and it is sweet and fragrant. And the child feels something stir within them, and they begin to dance with the song. Things fly in through the window, spinning in the smoke, taking shape over the rainbow lights in the glass bowl of the form's work. They then fly over to the child, taking their hands with their smoke, and they all begin to dance together, and dance, and dance, and dance, and dance. The child awoke to the smell of dust after rain, finding themselves tucked into their own bed. Bolting up, the child looks around, spotting the lantern they had used to guide them, and then their boots, clean and shined. However, before they can question if it were all a dream, the door to their room bursts open as their papa came in. Seeing the child awake, their papa swept them up into a tight embrace. "Let me tell you a tale, child of mine," their papa says. "I was lost in that great storm, when out of nowhere the singer in the storm appeared, parting the rain and carrying none other than you, asleep like a stone in that cacophony." Before the child could object and say the storm was, in fact, a beautiful melody, their papa continued. "And what does the singer say to me? But that you had asked them to find me and help your mama. Not only that, but that you overpaid them. Something about dancing and keeping storm spirits occupied while they worked." The child then inquired about their mama. "The singer had her drink some strange glowing liquid, and the physician says she is improving and should recover in a few days," their papa sighed. And so it was a few days later, the child's mother did indeed recover. A few days later still, another storm blew in, and the child did not hear just the rain and the wind and the thunder, but the music of it all, and felt that same stirring as before. And so the child danced and danced and danced, and would dance in every storm that visited the village, dancing in the streets, dancing in their home, dancing wherever they were, dancing with the song of the storm. In time, a year passed, with all its storms and all its desperate souls seeking their salvation of last resort. And, a year to the day, another storm hit the village and the mountain. And as the storm sang its song upon the mountain, a dancer made their way along the path, leaping and sliding over the mud, a lantern and a boot hanging loosely from the dancer's hands as they followed a path of glowing colored motes, to a cabin whose windows shone with all the colors of the rainbow. Stopping at the door, the dancer danced with the storm song and its dancers until the door eventually opened. "Who is this dancing at my door, riling up the spirits of the storm?" A familiar voice, a familiar form, the singer in the storm, says from the doorway. The dancer gave the singer a grinning reply. "Well," the singer sighed, watching as the previously almost untouched dancer slowly starts to become drenched in the storm, "you may as well come in, settle in by the fire." The dancers smiled more and made their way to the hearth, looking around in awe at the home in rainbow hues. "So what pressing need brings you to me again? Your father is not missing again, is he? Your mother is not again on her deathbed?" The dancer quickly assures the singer that their papa and mama are fine. "Then do tell, what brings you here before me?" the singer asked, before being startled by the dancer's reply, for the dancer declared they wished to be taught by the singer. "And why should I teach you? I have no desire for tears at this time." "I can dance for you," the dancer proclaimed, "and if that's not enough, I even have a lantern and a boot I can give." The singer let out a laugh. "Interesting. Very interesting. Come join me by the window as I think over your offer, the singer said, taking their place in the first rocking chair, with the dancer taking the other, as they would spend many a storm from then on out, in song and in dance and in listening to the magic of the storm.